With that in place, welcome everyone. We are live captioning our meetings. Please look at the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you will find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning. Tonight, I would like to make just a couple announcements before I call the meeting to order. I want to make a couple of acknowledgements of people that are with us this evening, starting with Jihan Lee, who is the President and CEO of ACCT. Jihan, thank you for being here. He is the guardian of all things community college. So. Also, David Borowski. David, are you, David? You are here. He is the executive director of AC4. He is an AACCT, of which Ms. Sullivan is a board member. We have a retreat for board members and others that David will be leading in the next couple of days here for all the Arizona community colleges. I also want to say congratulations to CJ, who is now officially the new president of Chandler Gilbert Community College. I think everybody knows who you are, but congratulations and welcome. One final announcement, which is I wanted to acknowledge that our student trustee, Tamaya Jackson Long, this is actually her last formal meeting, but we're going to see her again when she comes back because she is leaving to do a fascinating new internship, and congratulations on that. So she will not be at our May meeting, but as we do the transition to the new student trustee, we want you to come back because we want to acknowledge you in a much more formal fashion. But congratulations on your involvement in both student activities and your own academic activities. She's been a great asset to the board. And I'm being asked for you to provide some details on your internship. Do you want to do that for a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure. My internship is going to be a research-based internship at WPI. I don't want to mispronounce the name, but it's Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts. It's a biomedical engineering-based research internship. And for my lab in particular, we will be working on heart valves and understanding how the cells in the heart valves react under different conditions, and also figuring out how to better deal with the heart in different conditions and like diseases and things like that. So that's kind of a general understanding of it.
With those preliminary announcements, I would now like to call the meeting to order of the regular board meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board for April 22nd, 2025. For the record, I will call a roll call of the board members, starting with our student trustee, Tamaya Jackson Long.
Present.
Ms. Butler.
Present.
Ms. Davis.
Present.
Dr. Noreen.
Present.
Ms. Smith.
Present.
Ms. Sullivan.
Present.
Dr. Thor and
Present.
myself. We are all present. I would like to now move to the Pledge of Allegiance and welcome the South Mountain Community College Student Leaders Group. If you could come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And we're going to come back to you for your report after we do
that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any substitutions, so after you went and sat down, I'm going to ask the students from South Mountain to come forward again with presenters and do your presentation.
Good evening, President Bitter-Smith, Dr. Gonzalez, distinguished members of the board and guests. My name is Kayla Simpkins, Vice President of Student Government. I am here today to represent South Mountain Community College, a Hispanic and minority serving institution where student voices are amplified. Next slide, please. Thank you. This outline provides a quick overview of the topics we will cover. At the end, we will conclude with a call to action. Next slide. I'd like to introduce our officers who are an integral part to the improvement of campus life. The events, activities, and fairs for students would not be possible without them. They have put in tremendous efforts towards making college more than just school, but a place students can look back on with fulfillment. Next slide. We also want to highlight these honorary members who have contributed their time and creativity to our organization. They serve as wonderful examples of our ever-evolving student landscape. Next slide.
So would you mind going to the back slide? I apologize. When it comes to shaping the future on our campus, student government has rich representation on our councils. We are thankful to have students like Jesus Peña Bojorquez, SMCC's dedicated career peer, Victor Ayala, South Mountain Student Senate, and myself to bring forth change and student concerns. Next slide, please. I'm also excited to share the rise in student engagement across our entire campus. We have seen stronger connections forming not just among students, but as well between students and staff. Our growing number of student clubs and organizations reflect our growing community, which have been providing students with meaningful opportunities for civic engagement and leadership. Through these groups, students are not only finding a sense of belonging, but also stepping up as change makers. Some standout examples of inclusive student-led activities include Mecha's Latinx Town Hall, BSU's Open Mic Night, and domestic violence advocacy and awareness presented by Criminal Justice Involvement Club. And we're especially proud to share our growth on the 3-day student leadership retreat. Last year, we did just have 8 students. This year, that number jumped to 30. It's a powerful sign that our students desire to get involved, to lead, to make a real difference, not just on campus, but beyond. Next slide, please.
Hello, I'm Seclary Chavez, the Public Relations Officer of SMCC Student Government. To tell you a little bit about myself, I am a 16-year-old dual-enrolled high school student pursuing a bachelor's degree at South in Behavioral Health and Human Services. Not only do I hold leadership position here, but I also engage in my high school student government as Vice President, National Honor Society, Peer Solutions, and Envirothon. Our campus also promotes academic student engagement through various avenues. To start off, we've expanded our middle school and high school student visitations and tours to incorporate conferences, which help students see the many fields of interest and opportunities for prospective college attendees. For instance, at our most recent STEM conference, we oversaw 5 local high schools rallying in near 350 students. Moreover, we have bright and talented scholars participating in academically focused initiatives. Last year, Theta Kappa and SMCC Storytelling Institute collaborated on hosting workshops teaching how to share their personal stories in a captivating way. Next slide, please.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Guadalupe Liberato. I am a student worker for Student Life and Leadership at SMCC. Today, we'll be highlighting some student resources from the past year, specifically how they have supported student success and growth. I work in the village, a food and resource pantry. This past year, the pantry served over 1,700 students. Showing how important this resource is, I'd like to share a personal experience of how Gabriel's Pantry has impacted the lives of our students. One moment that stood out to me was when I had the opportunity to help a Hispanic family whose fridge broke down and their food had spoiled. They didn't know how they were going to feed their kids that week, and seeing the relief in their faces when they could take home food reminded me why our work truly matters. We also held our annual turkey drive that served about 200 families in the community. Over 50 of our students' peers contributed to this effort. While your resources like Gabriel's Pantry meets students' immediate need, support for their long-term goals is just as essential. That's where career services comes in. To share more about how SMCC is helping students prepare for the workforce, I'll pass it over to Jesus.
Thank you, Lupita. Stories like that show the heart of our campus, supporting students in every way possible. And while meeting basic needs is a huge part of student success, preparing for the future is just as important. Esteemed governing board members, my name is Jesus Pena, and I am the Student Affairs Representative and a career coach at SMCC. Career Services has revolutionized how South prepares students for the workforce. This year, they hosted an inaugural career conference, provided 53 students with full professional attire, and introduced SMCC's first ever micro internship program with its second edition launching this summer. SMCC strives to make it easier for students to access the necessary resources, ensuring that help is always within reach. Next slide, please. I'm also here to showcase South Mountain Community College's commitment to leadership development. This year, SMCC took 16 students to the United States Hispanic Leadership Institute conference in Chicago, Illinois, thanks to a $20,000 grant we were awarded. Some of our students also had the chance to shine on a national stage. Perla Rodriguez made history as South's first representative at the Student Public Policy Forum in over a decade. She recently traveled to Washington, D.C. to meet with Arizona's federal representatives and advocate for community college student benefits. Victor Ayala, our student senator, competed in the Up to Us national competition in Washington, D.C. He represented SMCC among Ivy League schools, placing 6th out of 100 students and being one of only 2 community college students in attendance. SMCC will continue to develop the next generations of leaders ready to impact locally, state, and nationally. I'm so proud to be a student and employee of South Mountain who invests in leadership development, ensuring students are equipped to lead with purpose and impact. Next slide.
Hello, my name is Jaslyn Smith, and I am the Secretary and appointed Student Advisor. South Mountain has nurtured and inspired the many clubs that we have to offer on campus. In addition, we have introduced 9 new clubs this year to our club's roster. This increase in clubs has contributed to a more active and lively campus environment, helping foster student and community engagement, connecting students to peers of similar interests, values, and pathways. You can catch many of these clubs hosting events or tabling at school-led events to connect and engage students. Many of the clubs we have offer guidance and support, such as Phi Theta Kappa, where they guide students on how to apply for scholarships and take the next steps on their educational and career journeys. Or clubs such as DECA and Ed Rising, or SACNIS, which stands for the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science. And of course, our Criminal Justice Involvement Club. We are proud that our new and existing clubs address the diverse needs of students, ensuring that every student finds a sense of belonging at South Mountain. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Jaslyn. Good evening. My name is Maddie Barnes. I am the Treasurer of Student Government, President of the Black Student Union, and a proud active member of Phi Theta Kappa National Honor Society. Today, I'm sharing with you some of the ways student government has supported the SMCC student body. All 9 aforementioned clubs were approved and supported by the student government. As an organization, we have executed fundraising efforts in collaboration with other clubs, such as the Black Student Union, the end result being a successful event that represented the face of SMCC as friendly, creative, and ambitious. We will continue to aid the development of clubs on our campus, representing this face of SMCC. Next slide, please. This end of semester, South Mountain Community College will be hosting events that not only fundraise for us and show our presence on campus, but is also a response to the needs of the local South Mountain community, including our upcoming Rock and Roll clothing drive and our selling of custom-to-paint tote bags for a collaborative Earth Day celebration event. We welcome you to attend this event, and with all this being said, these efforts on our behalf is just the start of what we do for and on our campus every day. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Good evening, members of the Maricopa District Governing Board. My name is Victor Abel Ayala Herrera, and I currently serve as the Student Senator at South Mountain Community College. In addition to my role, I am a full-time honors student, a member of the Phi Theta Kappa, and a member of the Shared Governance Committee, and a student that will be graduating in May with my bachelor's degree in behavioral health science. Upon graduation, my goal is to attend Arizona State University, where I will work towards my master's degree of social work. Today, I stand before you as a student representative of South Mountain and a proud member of the student government. I, along with the student government leaders, humbly ask the governing board if there is any way or possible form to expand the inventory of loaner laptops and portable hotspots across Maricopa community colleges. This can look like if any other community college has any extra resources that aren't in high demand for colleges to share with any college that is available. Next slide, please. South Mountain Community College is a school with a heart, and although we have a very strong and supportive community, we are facing a crisis with the lack of technology. As we are near the end of the spring semester, we currently have seen an 11.6 increase of enrollment alone this semester, which shows a possibility of higher demand. As a student, regardless of what program you are in, technology is important to have access to it. It is vital to academic success. As a part-time career coach at South Mountain, I have witnessed firsthand students falling behind, not because of the unmotivated or because of the lack of support. I have assisted an average of 25 to 30 students with scholarship applications to help cover the cost of reliable technology, such as Chromebooks, tablets, and portable hotspots. As a student advocate and leader of South Miami Community College, I spoke with a member of our team in the tech services. She shared with me that during peak hours such as midterms and finals, there is a higher need for a laptop because they tend to crash due to high usage. During these times, having reliable internet access and computers is vital for success and for success, as these final exams and projects count towards our grades. Today, there are a total of 400 laptops and a total of 58 portable hotspots available to students at South Miami Community College, which have all been checked out. To our amazing guests this evening, governing board members, thank you for your patience and time as we stand before you today for this special ask that can also benefit every student across Maricopa Community College.
I would like to thank our student Senate Victor for delivering our ask. As well, realized I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jay. I am president of student government, a part-time career coach, and student representative across many councils. I also would like to offer a special thank you to our advisors, Lucero Cruel Martinez and Luis Fragoso. They have been a beacon of support, guidance, and innovation. Next slide, please. On behalf of South Mountain Student Governance, we thank you for your time and attention during today's presentation. We hope through our shared experiences, you leave with a deeper understanding that South Mountain is more than just an educational institution. It is the college with the heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want you to know that I saw people taking notes, particularly of the ask, so that did not go ignored. Let me ask board members, are there questions? Anybody? Dr. Marini?
The question again about the asks. I mean, everybody here knows that I'm a hawk when it comes to fees and that sort of thing. But the ask that you're making about technology, I guess I'm not really expecting a question or an answer, just kind of a put out to you how students would feel if there was a technology fee added, so that we would have the technology for students at the district level.
If it's okay, I would like to pass this back over to our student Senate Victor, if that's all right.
Good evening. I personally think adding a fee to a Chromebook rental, or for example, having Chromebooks or portable hotspots, I would say if it can be added necessarily to the financial aid distributions. I know there's book advances and stuff like that that are provided to students, as long as it's within financial aid, given that we are a major institute with financial aid. I think it would be acceptable for students.
Yeah, because I know that also a lot of the courses will have fees in there for technology and that sort of thing. So making sure that we can balance the fees that are needed for technology in a specific class and the fee that's necessary for technology as a whole would be important too.
Other questions or comments? Ms. Sullivan?
A couple of things. First, my question is, tell me more about the rock and roll clothing drive, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
I can go ahead and pass that over to Matt.
Hello, again,
Hello.
I am Maddie Barnes. I am the treasurer of student government, president of the Black Student Union and an active member of Phi Theta Kappa. You may have saw that I got really excited over there, and that is because the Rock and Roll Clothing Drive was a great collaborative idea from all of us, even though like I may have suggested it, but it really was a group effort. But really, I'm super excited because what this is it's an event for the community. So we're having a lot of faculty, students get together. What's going to kind of bring a bunch of people together is that we're going to host a contest. Please dress as the rock and roll favorite person from like your favorite era, so 70s, 80s, 90s, and there will be a contest.
60s. Let's go back.
Hey, if you can rock it, we'll you wear it. So again, there will be a prize for this contest. There will be a fee for it, and of course, as you come, you will also be able to donate clothing, and we will kind of do it how we do our Gabriel Pantry. Once you donate your clothing and you are at our clothing drive, you can pick up $10 worth of clothing items. So
Wow.
we have some shoes, pants, shirts, everything sized. We do have everything organized. We did make sure that we had some clean clothes that if they had been worn, they were not just tattered beyond belief. So our Rock and Roll Clothing Drive is for the community, it's for our students, our faculty, and it's a good way just to bring people together with a little goofiness, dress up, come do your best rock and roll kick across the stage, and then of course give back and get what you need as well.
Thank you. When are you having this?
Yeah,
I missed that part.
yeah, it's actually tomorrow.
Oh. Well, I don't think I could be Linda Ronstadt between now and tomorrow.
It is like all day tomorrow. I think it starts about 11 a.m.
How
Yeah.
fun. I do want to congratulate all of you on all the wonderful work you're doing, and I'm really impressed. That one just, since I'm a rock and roll person of the
I'm having
60s, I
visions
couldn't
of board
resist.
members in rock and roll outfits. This is not a good thing.
Yeah. But I also had another, thank you very much.
Of course,
and
thank
good luck.
you.
I also have some clothes in my car actually that are professional clothing. I'm serious. They're dry cleaned, they're ready to go. I was going to give them to Dress for Success. If I could finagle a way to give them to you this evening, but without losing out on the meeting, I would be glad to do that. But my other question, if I may, is many of you talk about being a career coach, and you're obviously part of the student body in that space. How did that come about, and how is that working within on your campus to be a success? I'm very curious about that.
Hello, Governing Board. I am Jesus Pena. I'm here to represent South Mountain. I am a career peer coach. So, from what I know, career services at South Mountain is funded by an HSI grant worth a couple $1 million. So, we are one of the, I believe, the most paid student worker positions on campus. So what is interesting about our position is that we are paraprofessionals in a sense. We invest a lot in career readiness for our students. Our director, Maricel Herrera, invests a lot in professional development for us. We, in fact, had to go through about 75 hours worth of training before we were allowed to work with students directly. So we help them out with resumes, secure scholarships, secure internships. Myself, I have helped several students secure about $1,000 in scholarships at the bare minimum. I've helped students gain internships with Dave's Killer Bread. I've helped a student get a job as an airport dispatcher. So we're really trying to invest in our community.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from board members? Tamaya?
Oh, not a question, but just like a comment. Really great presentation from South Mountain. I also wanted to just individually congratulate Victor on that placement on the national level. That is such a great achievement. I just want us to clap for him on that achievement. Seriously, congratulations. You represent not only the community college, but also yourself and your community as well. So really, congratulations.
I have one more question for Chicarly. Is that what you said? I have one more question for you. So you're a high school student now,
Correct.
and you're getting your bachelor's degree when?
May 2026.
All right, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marie. Well, again, congratulations to all of the students from South Mountain. Again, did I miss anybody in questions? If not, we appreciate you being here. I know it's getting close to finals, so if you scoot out to study, we will not be offended. But again, echoing congratulations to the South Mountain team and your administrative leadership.
Thank you guys again for your time and attention, and thank you so much for the questions. It's a really good sign, so thank you. I would like to excuse us because finals, crunch season. So thank you, and we're gonna also celebrate with some dinner. So thank you guys.
Okay. Wonderful.
No,
I
yes,
thank you for volunteer.
Yes, thank you. And then we will accept clothes as well tomorrow. So will not discriminate. Thank you.
Yes, we're going to proceed with the faculty report, but we don't want to lose this opportunity for ready-made donations right here. So, okay, let's move on again to the faculty executive council report. Ramona, welcome.
Madam President, members of the board, Chancellor, SGEC, colleagues, honored students, and guests. This will be the final time I have the honor of addressing the governing board on behalf of the Faculty Executive Council. On May 13th, Stacy Smith will assume the role of Stacy, a business faculty member at Paradise Valley Community College, has been dedicated to teaching business law and advocating for faculty interests since 2017. In her roles as senator, faculty senate president-elect, residential faculty agreement collaboration team member, and representative on the Business Instructional Council, her focus has consistently been on listening to and representing her colleagues. Now, as she looks to serve as the incoming FEC president, Stacy is committed to continuing that advocacy and fostering strong collaborative relationships. She believes in the power of shared governance and is passionate about making a meaningful difference for faculty across the district. Our incoming president-elect is Matthew Jolly. Matt is an English faculty member at Gateway Community College who has worked in the Maricopa District for over 20 years. His dedication to faculty and to higher education are evidenced in his service as a former faculty senate president, faculty developer, member of the residential faculty and administration collaboration team, and co-chair of the Committee on Academic Freedom. As a faculty leader, he is committed to the highest standards of quality education, the quality which relies on our commitment to principles that have guided us for over a century: shared governance, academic freedom, and institutional autonomy. Matt believes in working collaboratively and productively with all Maricopa employees to support these principles. The role of the Faculty Executive Council President isn't just about making decisions. It's about navigating relationships, representing diverse interests, and building consensus. It's about the continual attempt to change either or to both and. It's a job that cannot effectively be done alone, and tonight I'm grateful for the help that I received this year. Tonight, I'd like to thank the past FEC presidents, and there are many of them, and the Faculty Association officers who offered strategic and personal guidance. I am thankful to have been supported by a legacy of leadership. I'd like to thank the Chancellor, district administrators, and the college presidents for their open communication and willingness to have the difficult conversations. I would like to thank the members of FEC for being engaged and sharing the varied perspectives of the faculty they represent. And finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank the faculty at large who, despite environmental turmoil, make differences in the lives of their students every day. I'm proud to represent them. In my first address to the governing board, I began with a quotation from H.E. Lecocq: "No one can whistle a symphony." I wanted to emphasize faculty commitment to collaboration. Tonight, I'll end my address with a quotation from Ian Trail de Min: "Unity is not absence of disagreement, but a consensus to agree to work together." Tonight, I want to emphasize faculty commitment to unity. The faculty of Maricopa will continue to stand unified with the staff and administration as we work together to support our mission to ignite talent, transform lives, and enrich communities through teaching, learning, and service. Thank you for this opportunity.
But on behalf of the board, I do want to echo our thanks to you for this service. We appreciate your great reports over the year. Are there questions? No.
No
Thank you.
questions. Just want to say thank you. Great representative. We appreciate it. And good luck, Stacy and Matthew.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the adjunct faculty report. Kim?
Good evening, President Bittersmith, esteemed governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of SGEC, and guests tonight. As I greet you this evening, we have a new batch of outstanding adjunct faculty awardees that we honored this past Friday here at Rio. Over the past several weeks, we have been very busy with all of the tasks that go into creating and hosting such an event. Each college worked to finalize the voting for the winners representing them. The committee worked with MCLI to gather information for the program and ready the awards. And the leadership team, consisting of Marie Thurl from Paradise Valley and Christina Gerges from Glendale, joined me in announcing and honoring the winners at the event. One of the most heartwarming things for me is reading the biographies of our awardees aloud at our event. To read the extensive breadth of skills, knowledge, and real-world work experience that our adjunct faculty bring to their roles underscores why they are the recent group is our newest group of outstanding adjunct faculty. And we're pleased with what they bring to the district in their teaching. I have on my notes here that we have concluded our spring elections. We haven't quite concluded them, finalizing the voting, but we will have new representatives for roles that are opening up due to member terms ending. And our new members will be representing Mesa Community College, Scottsdale Community College, Glendale Community College, and Paradise Valley Community College. One of the interesting things the last couple of months, and this month in particular, has been that we have brought forth many questions from some of the committee work that we've been doing and meetings that we've had with AFG board members and other local committees for our group and also district committees we've sat on. So they've been good questions, and they've also been hopefully ones that will serve the district better. And I wanted to go over a couple of the topics of discussion that we've gone over. We've had inquiries about access to software programs and security issues for adjunct faculty because they often work on their own personal computers to develop their lesson plans, their work, and the programs for their classes. I've been privileged to have a meeting with our CIO to discuss things and brought it up at several of the other district committee meetings that I'm involved with. We also realized that we would like to see if we can bring forward some sort of recognition for terms of service for adjunct faculty. Residential faculty are usually honored at the end of every spring as for their years of service, whether it's 5, 10, 15, but often the adjunct faculty are not included in this. And so we are looking to perhaps bring this back in some way. We're not sure how yet. Right now we're starting the discussions and whether this will be an individual conversation that we have with our colleges to ask them to include it, or whether this will be something that we somehow try to bring about from the adjunct faculty group itself. We feel is important because some of our members have been also teaching for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Also, in our work on the AFG bylaws, our committee raised the question of what does in good standing mean? It's a term that has been used when we reach out for adjunct faculty members to represent their college, and we realize that there's no district definition. It also applies to more than just adjunct faculty. It can be a term that applies in many situations. So I've been, again, bringing this up in the many committee meetings that I'm in because I like to just spread the word to everybody and say, let's get a discussion going. So we have not finalized anything yet, and we realize that there may be different iterations of it for different groups. But it's been an interesting topic to take on. On a local level, my representatives at South Mountain Community College are working with the organizers of their year-end leadership awards to make sure that South Mountain Community College's outstanding adjunct faculty award winners, as well as the nominees, are all included and recognized in their year-end celebrations. Reps at other colleges are also working towards recognition for their outstanding adjuncts and the nominees. And at Paradise Valley, Lee Chivers has been meeting with the Faculty Senate President and attending the division department meetings to build relationships that will support adjunct faculty and residential faculty relationships better. Our communications committee has updated our newsletter template, and we have a new format with including general news for adjuncts and a section that can be customized by the reps for distribution at their individual colleges. That way we're able to get more of our news out to people, important information about adjunct opportunities, as well as give the colleges a chance to talk about individual items that they have going on their campus. Lastly, our adjunct faculty group bylaws committee is finalizing our updated bylaws, which will next be reviewed by the AFG board as a whole, and then it'll be moved forward for review by district HR and the chancellor. That's all I have tonight, and we appreciate your support for the adjunct faculty group and the work that we're doing. Any questions?
Questions for Kim?
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. We're moving on to the staff representation update. April and Jason. And it looks like we have new faces, so I'm going to rely on Jason to introduce this.
Good evening, President Bittersmith, members of the board, chancellor, members of the Shared Governance Executive Council, and guests. My name is Jason Rich. April's not with us. She's taking some well-earned vacation time and celebrating her anniversary today. Next slide, please. So I just want to recognize that today is Earth Day. The students shared some wonderful things that they're doing. We had staff share with us that they're helping support some of those efforts, and there's a lot of different things going on this month in support of that. And we actually have an Office of Sustainability that actually sends out stuff every month about what's going on in the district. So we just want to share a couple highlights. One that I wanted to share is the electric vehicle ride and drive event, which was the first ever event that was held at South Mountain, where the local community could come in, check out different electrical vehicles, drive them around. So it's kind of a new thing that they're bringing into the community there, as well as a lot of other new things that they've been trying around the district. Slide, please. And this is just kind of a high level overview of that, the fact that there's a lot going on that is really kind of making it a little more difficult to get through things as we try to actually reach our first balanced budget in a really long time, and we try to make the movements in the district to support that. The constant changing directives that we're getting from outside. Next slide, please. So at the same time, we've also been working on doing our next year representation makeup. So we just finished yesterday our self-nomination period. We had 40 different people put in their nominations to become staff reps, as well as 6 standing senators that have another year in their term. So we'll be going out for elections on a couple that had enough competition that we'll have that, and then working on bringing our new body in July 1st. And unfortunately, we got out of sync with South and Mesa, so our spotlight is not in sync with the spotlight from the students this month. But I would like to turn it over to Mesa Community College to do their spotlight report.
Thank you, Jason.
Good evening, President Bittersmith, members of the board, and guests. Thank you for having us here tonight to give a quick staff update from Mesa Community College. My name is Ashley Harden, and I'm an exempt staff representative for Mesa Community College. Joining me tonight are other leaders from MCC sitting with us in the audience, as well as my fellow staff representatives from MCC. Aurora Dorsey and Stacy Argo are 2 of our non-exempt representatives. Lucy Rayford is our 3rd non-exempt representative, but due to prior commitments was not able to join us tonight. Ryan Eisentrout also joins us tonight as my fellow exempt representative at MCC. Next slide, please. And at this time, during this time the presentation was submitted, Alvin Bridges was our third exempt representative and senator. And since recently, he has accepted a new position with the district office, so he's not with us this evening. So to fill his position, Brian and myself will be filling his role for the rest of the fiscal year. And this next slide that we see on the screen highlights our 60th anniversary. So this marked a major milestone, and we had students, alumni, and employees, and the community were all invited to our campus last Wednesday to join in the celebration that honored our past, celebrated our present, and looked forward towards the future. Next slide, please. This slide highlights different student programs that we have. So two of our student programs that you see on the slide. The first one is our Mesa Promise program, which since 2021 has been helping Mesa residents attend MCC completely tuition free for 2 years after graduating from a Mesa high school. The fall of 2024, the Mesa College program welcomed its fourth and largest group of students, which included the inaugural group of returning adult students. The growth of the program was possible due to part by the support of Meta, who contributed $225,000 to the program to support Mesa residents pursuing STEM certificates and degrees. I'll now pass the mic to Braden.
Since Ashley and I are going to be sharing Alvin's responsibilities as center, we figured we'd also share presentation responsibilities tonight. So the other student program we'd like to highlight is in the spring of 2021, as a response to the COVID pandemic, MCC launched an online variant of our new student orientation program. Over the next few years, development focus shifted to the online orientation, which ultimately resulted in the last in-person orientation being offered in the fall 2023. Under the guidance of BPSA Dr. Hollins, MCC is bringing back our in-person Thor new student orientation program. The program is being collaboratively redesigned across many departments of student affairs to give new students a holistic onboarding to MCC and the college experience. The first offering of the new Thor orientation program is scheduled to be offered in late May. Next slide, please. It's also important that we acknowledge the struggles that MCC is currently undergoing and the impact that they're having on staff. It was recently announced that the MCC Children's Center will close effective May 9th of this year. The center has been a valuable part of the MCC and community, providing high quality early childhood education to a population that might not otherwise be able to afford it. Although the closure of the center is necessary and logical, the impact of the community and the 5 affected employees is unfortunate. Next slide, please. And lastly, I'm pleased to recognize 2 MCC academic advisors who recently received district level honors at the 2025 Maricopa Academic Advisement Conference. Nadia Ismail was named Outstanding Advisor of the Year for her exceptional student support, commitment to growth, and leadership in the advising community. Additionally, Noelle Moreland received the Making an Impact Award for her dedication and innovative contributions that have made a lasting difference across the district. So thank you all for allowing us the opportunity to highlight the incredible staff and work happening at MCC. We appreciate your continued support of both our college and staff.
Thank you so much for your report. Jason, thank you to you and the team. I should ask if any questions. I neglected to do that. It's a good sign. We've answered everything. No questions. We do not have anything under the awards and recognitions category. So Dr. Gonzalez, we're now to the Chancellor report.
Thank you, President Bittersmith and members of the board. I want to start with the strategic planning update and invite Dr. Kathy Hernandez up to the podium, and then I will continue with my remarks.
Welcome, Kathy.
Good evening, President Bittersmith, members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of Shared Governance Executive Council and guests. I'm Kathy Hernandez, Associate Vice Chancellor for Enterprise Performance and Chief of Staff in the Office of the Chancellor. I serve as Tri-Chair for the Maricopa Strategy Planning Steering Team alongside Dr. Richard Daniel, President at Mesa Community College, and Ms. Ramona Goth, Faculty Executive Council President. On behalf of the team, I'm pleased to provide today's quarterly strategic plan update. Next slide, please. As we approach the conclusion of Excellence 2026 Year 2, transition into Year 3, and simultaneously begin preparations for the next strategic planning cycle, there's a lot going on. So I'd like to briefly share an update on recent and upcoming strategic planning efforts across the system. On April 16th and 17th, we hosted the SCUP Design Institute for 40 participants from all 10 colleges and the district office, including 2 governing board members. The session focused on elements of creating an integrated planning framework for Maricopa, with participant key takeaways, including the need for a shared planning language across the system and consistent structure for planning across the system. Next, on April 29th, we'll hold a system-wide strategic planning retreat with around 60 participants. This session will shift our focus toward future planning, guide our approach to Year 3 of the strategic plan, and include discussion on Strategy 1 and executive order alignment. As we prepare for the upcoming strategic planning cycle, we will begin to launch a system-wide data collection effort to inform the development of the next Maricopa strategic plan. While we have begun to collect some of that data and begin to create a repository, the bulk of that will begin in May of 2025 and run through December of 2025. This will include information such as broad stakeholder feedback, economic impact analysis, environmental scanning, and student trend review. As we get that planning cycle prepared and done, we'll be ready to provide additional information to the board. Ideally, these efforts are laying the groundwork for a more integrated, data-informed, and forward-thinking planning across the system. Next slide, please. Before I begin the progress update on Strategy 1, I want to acknowledge that Excellence 2026 Year 2 is currently under review for compliance with executive orders. Any revisions needed to ensure compliance will be discussed and addressed during the system-wide strategic planning retreat on April 29th. Next slide, please. Today, we're going to highlight 2 areas in Strategy 1. 1.1a is expanding our recruitment pipeline. On March 24th, the College and High School Task Force held a recruitment pipeline design session at the Helios Education Foundation, which I believe some of our board members participated in. It brought together 80 stakeholders from across Maricopa colleges, K-12 partners, and key community organizations like Helios, the Center for Future of Arizona, Elevate Ed AZ, and the Arizona Department of Education. The group identified key challenges and opportunities, which were organized into 6 major themes. Building upon that work, the next step is the formation of a re-envisioning task force, which will review the design session outcomes, prioritize ideas, develop an action plan, and implement strategies in collaboration with stakeholders. In addition to that work, the APPI team focused on improving the dual enrollment process, will launch a new student information system form to enable automatic enrollment for eligible students, reducing manual work by employees. Strategy 1.1b, accelerating the future of baccalaureate degrees through partnerships. As you are all aware, we were in discussions with Northland Pioneer College, so the memorandum of understanding with that organization is currently under review and awaiting signature. As this work and conversations with other Arizona districts have occurred, it has been determined that a more formalized strategy is needed to guide long-term scalability and sustainability. In the coming months, key stakeholders will work to develop a comprehensive model that supports community college to community college partnerships for associate to bachelor's degree articulation. This model will include strategies for advising, outreach, recruitment, and data sharing, a formal application process for interested Arizona community colleges, and infrastructure planning to support expansion. Next slide, please. One more. Strategy 2, we will highlight 2.1c, delivering technology tools and leveraging artificial intelligence. Our current focus under this strategic priority is advancing data governance as a system-wide initiative. The newly formed Data Governance Council is meeting biweekly to maintain momentum and ensure progress on this very critical work. The council has identified key focus areas to evaluate and standardize data across the system.
A new data gathering framework is under review, and the work will begin in the final quarter of fiscal year 25 to organize the data elements within identified areas. Short-term benefits include improved data practices and policies, ensuring data protection, while laying the groundwork for future innovation and service enhancements across Maricopa. Strategy 2.2a, assess and recommend a strategic funding model. This activity is now complete with the development of the new strategic budget allocation model, and efforts now focus on implementation. A strategic budget reallocation task force has been established to develop the structure, processes, and communication needed for successful rollout. The task force is moving forward with developing several key deliverables that will support consistent hiring practices and coordinated staffing processes across the system, all aligned with existing policies and procedures. This work is essential to ensure that the new model is not only strategic in design, but also operationally sound, transparent, and sustainable. Next slide, please. That concludes my presentation and update for this quarter, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. Questions or comments, particularly from board members that are part of the committee? Ms. Sullivan?
Jacqueline's saying no, but I guess I'll jump in. I wanted to thank you for the SCUP training on the 16th and 17th. It was pretty comprehensive. I realized there were many areas where they duplicated some training that some of us have had before, but there were still learning and takeaways. I've been dared to make a comment about one of our activities as I'm looking at some of the participants. For the sake of the order, we were all asked to create a program that reflected thought and alignment to strategic priorities. And to that end, because I've been dared, I'm going to do this. We created in our exercise, and I'm going to throw Dr. Britt under the bus because she was part of this conversation. We created the Department of Grant Excellence. But the opportunity to create our department challenged us to think about how do you look at resources under a strategic plan to create a different model of planning for that. We also had a dope department, not created by my group. And then there was another one, USAID, that stood for universally, Mr. Wooster. Yes, so I don't know if you all heard that, but the point was that when you have the opportunity to work at planning in a collaborative model, you can really be thoughtful about how you're integrating all of the elements that go into good program planning when you're looking at strategic alignment. So the humor aside, it was very instructional and valuable. And I think that the pieces that you will carry forward into the April 29th meeting will be very valuable as you look to the realignment of the strategic plan so it can be more accommodating with and more succinct to our broad community. So I just wanted to acknowledge that there was good learning, good experiences, a lot of camaraderie, good collaboration. And by the way, Dr. Hernandez was on the committee for for the Department of Grant Excellence as well. So what could I say? The one thing that I've learned about leadership is you must bring humor to some of the most serious programs so you can move things forward. And I think we achieved that at some levels. But thank you for your leadership. Thank you for making the commitment to do that. And for those of us who have the opportunity to participate, we will walk away better for that. So thank you for that. And thank you for today's update.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Any other questions?
I would just like to close by commenting that I left the room when Mrs. Sullivan and Dr. Britt started creating that department. I just want to own that.
And we appreciate that clarification. Well noted.
And there were others who participated in this. Anyway.
Thank you. Dr. Gonzalez?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Hernandez, President Bittersmith, members of the board. And continuing with an update related to the student presentation, I'm going to provide some additional information about South Mountain Community College. Their spring enrollment continues to be on a positive trajectory. They've had an 11.9% increase in enrollment over this time last year, and this was after the 45th day, which is a critical point in counting the number of students that are actually enrolled in the semester. This is the second spring semester that they have offered the Bachelor of Science in Behavioral Science, and their upper division credits in the BHS program have seen an increase of 53% in attempted credits, which is amazing. And they've also significantly expanded their early college offerings, and as a result, dual enrollment has increased by 34% this spring. Some points of pride for South. The Bachelor of Science program at South is thriving. The college has received a $1 million gift from the Burton Family Foundation to expand student access to the degree, and to the state of Arizona and Board of Behavioral Health Examiners has officially recognized and approved the Bachelor of Science in a Behavioral Science curriculum for state licensure as an addiction counselor license type. So congratulations to the South team for winning that grant, or earning that grant, receiving that grant, and also thanking Brian and his team over at the foundation and helping develop those conversations. As we approach the spring's commencements, the college is anticipating 28 graduates from the program. That's pretty amazing, including one AAEC high school student who has been concurrently enrolled in courses. The student that was just up there, a different student, my goodness. All right. The success of the program has far surpassed initial projections. South Mountain students are leading locally and nationally. The college's student senator, who was here earlier, I believe left the room, his name is Victor Ayala, participated in the Up to Us boot camp leadership event in Washington, D.C., and was one of only 2 community college students selected nationwide to participate in that, working alongside with top students from Yale, Princeton, and Harvard to work on critical policy issues. And he placed 6th in the competition. Lastly, I'm pleased to share that South's Phi Theta Kappa chapter has officially achieved a 5-star designation. This is a significant accomplishment and reflects the hard work, dedication, and commitment of students in the community. So congratulations to President Hippolito and her team for outstanding work in here, increasing student enrollment, and clearly the progress that your students are making in their program. So good job there. Enrollment across the system. Spring 2025 headcount is up 3.5%. That between 3 and 4% seems to be a consistent number for us semester after semester. The good news is that it's consistently been doing that the last several semesters. So what we'd like to see substantial growth. We'll take that steady growth semester over semester. Summer headcount is already up 7% over this time last year. And as far as legislative update goes, today marks the 100th day of the legislative session, is expected to continue into May and possibly even June. Maricopa colleges continue to welcome legislative members to our campuses. Congressman Greg Stanton visited Mesa Community College and bestowed a congressional commendation for their 60th anniversary. So congratulations to Dr. Danielle and his team. Mrs. Sullivan and I were also able to accompany Dr. Danielle and Congressman Stanton on that visit last week. South Mountain hosted tours for Senator Mitzi Epstein, Representative Patty Contreras, and Representative Janelle Cavero. This past Friday, Governor Hobbs signed House Bill 2765. The bill including our Bachelor's of Education students in the Arizona Teachers Academy Scholarship. That's a big win for community college students in our state. So congratulations to Lauren and her team and everyone who helped to work and get that moved across and signed by our governor. Again, I want to extend my congratulations to CJ for accepting the role as the president. And I want to publicly thank Ramona. Is she still here? Oh, there you are, Ramona. Thank you for your service this past year. It's been a pleasure to work with you in your role as the FEC president. I look forward to working with Stacy. And I know that we're going to continue to meet regularly. So we'll see you in the next meeting. Thank you. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Are there questions? No questions. With that, then I will move on to the citizens interim component for our agenda. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board. In compliance with the open meeting law, the governing board will neither discuss nor take action on issues raised during the portion of the agenda. When necessary, issues will, though, be taken under advisement and placed on a subsequent agenda. Presenting concerns to the board and the free expression of ideas should be communicated with decorum and respect. Public bodies may impose reasonable time, place, and manner restriction on speakers. The board president will call on each speaker, permitting up to 3 minutes maximum for the speaker's remarks. The total number of speakers addressing a particular subject will be limited to no more than 3. I want to acknowledge I have 6 requests to speak on one topic. Those speakers have graciously worked together with me and selected 3 people to speak for them, and I appreciate their understanding of the process. So with that, I will call first on Janet Grum. Janet, thank you.
Thank you. President Bitter-Smith, members of the board, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the Shared Governance Council, and guests. My name is Janet Grom, and I'm a nursing student at Mesa Community College, as well as a parent of a child who attends the Children's Center. As you just heard, on the evening of April 2nd, devastation swept over me as I read an email from Vice President Russell stating that the Children's Center is closing on May 9th. The Children's Center has been a place of safety, learning, and friendship for my 3-year-old son for the past 6 months. I made the decision to go back to school in the summer of 2024, so not that long ago. But one of the factors that made my decision a little easier was knowing that Ty could go to preschool on the MCC campus. When I was grappling with this decision to go back and earn my nursing degree, the financial burden of finding childcare weighed heavily on me. How was I going to afford school while also having a safe place for my son? I did a lot of research on preschools and daycares in the area, but none of them came close or compared to the quality of programming at the MCC Children's Center. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I have a 12-month-old and then a 3-year-old that attends the center. But honestly, I'm not sure now where my academic future lies because the center is closing. I ask you to put yourselves in the shoes of us as parents. Do you have a child? Do you value having a safe place for your child to go to every day? Did anyone ever see what kind of programming happens at the Children's Center? Did they witness how our children have grown academically, socially, and emotionally? Did anyone consult us parents and ask us how we would be impacted? I understand that there's reallocation of the budget. I do get it. However, I think that knowing that the community college has a mission of enriching the community through teaching, learning, and service kind of does a disservice to us as students. So I urge the leaders to rethink their decision and instead of closing the center, maybe allocate some of that money to the indispensable program that serves its students and the community. Thank you.
Janet, thank you. Next speaker is Andrea Osteen.
Good evening, President Bitter-Smith, members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, and guests. My name is Andrea Osteen Chin. I'm a faculty member at Mesa Community College and a parent of a child enrolled at the center. I'm here to speak about the decision to close the Early Childhood Education Center, not only because of the decision itself, but because of how it was made and the significant impact it will have on students, employees, and the community. The center supports the mission and strategic goals of MCC in the district. For student parents, it makes education possible. Research shows 1/4 of community college students are parents, and more than half have a child under the age of 6. Additionally, 2/3 of community college students with young children leave without a college degree within 5 years. Despite the center's long-standing service over 50 years, the decision to close it was made after just months of deliberation. Such a rapid decision about an institution so deeply embedded in our college's history and mission raises serious concerns about the depth and integrity of the process. The given reason for closing the center is that it operates at a financial loss. The center has been described by college leadership as a self-sustaining auxiliary service, though that clearly was not the operational model over the past 5 decades. The low rates have long been a benefit of the program, and if you ask any of the family members utilizing the center, they tell you how much more they'd be willing to pay to preserve it. In fact, the center has previously approached this board with proposed fee increases and been denied, because student accessibility and affordability were seen as critical priorities by the board. Leadership claims there was shared governance because they work with stakeholders, but by their account, the decision was made by executive leadership, an academic dean, and a department chair. Faculty Senate leadership was told closure might happen, but was never shown data or asked for input. Once announced, leadership tried to mollify Faculty Senate concerns by suggesting that cutting the center could have made more funds available for summer courses. This is an inappropriate attempt to pit faculty against a student and community-facing service. The process did not include student parents, early childhood education students planning internship placements, employees, or community members who used the program. The last time the administration tried to close the center, public outcry stopped it. And it appears this time the college attempted to avoid that outcome by deliberately excluding the most impacted stakeholders from the process. I urge the board and the chancellor to ask, how will MCC serve students who need affordable, safe childcare to complete their degrees? What will replace the center to provide students the same level of college access? How is college leadership ensuring transparency, accountability, and shared governance in its decision-making? And finally, I want to share a statement from a former MCC student intern, and current parent, Marissa Watkins. I was a student at MCC from 2014 to 2018. I earned my associates in applied science and early childhood education, so I had the opportunity to do my internship at the Children's Center. I enjoyed my time working there and felt like it was the best environment for me to apply what I had learned in my classes. I felt I could meet the needs of children one-on-one, and the teachers were patient with me as I got my footing into the teaching field. I look back at that time with fondness, and once my children were old enough, I enrolled them at the lab and center as soon as I could. For our family, the MCC Children's Center is more than a daycare to drop off our 4-year-old. We've always trusted he would be in the best care of teachers who are attentive and adore having him in the classroom. With the Children's Center closing, we fear we will not be able to find a preschool to enroll our youngest son in, at least one that we can trust as much as MCC's Children's Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. And then our final speaker is Legine Wren. I hope I pronounced that as correctly as I can. Welcome.
Good evening, President Peter Smith, members of the board, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the Shared Governance Council, and guests. My name is Legine Wren. I work as an admin specialist senior in the facilities department at Mesa Community College. I feel so blessed to work at MCC. A place that supports not only my career and my studies, but also my journey as a parent. I cannot count how many times I've proudly shared with my friends and family how much it means to be part of the Maricopa family. And that includes our 4-year-old daughter who attends the MCC Children's Center. The Children's Center is our daughter's fourth daycare provider. And every single day, it has been confirmed that we made the right decision in choosing this center. The teachers are so patient, kind, warm, and truly knowledgeable, each with a strong background in early childhood education. The facility is clean, well-designed, and filled with activities that support brain development, creativity, and social growth. It's a place where children feel safe, engaged, excited, and happy to learn. At our daughter's previous daycares, all of my sick time was used because our daughter was constantly sick from the environment of the other daycares. But since joining MCC Children's Center 1 year ago, she hasn't been sick once, not one single time. This has allowed me to focus on my work and continue to pursue my master's degree. I cannot express how much I truly appreciate that. However, since the evening of March 31st, I've been overwhelmed with frustration and sadness after being told that MCC's Children's Center will be closing on May 9th. It's hard to believe, especially as MCC celebrates its 60th anniversary, that the Children's Center, which has been a part of this community for 50 years, is shutting down its doors. As a note, last year, the Children's Center had the fence replaced, installed a new gate, and upgraded the playground floor. The MCC Children's Center is building the next generation of students for our future. This is the route in which that route begins with our children. I feel that the other daycares will never compare to MCC Children's Center. Now our families are facing the difficulties of finding a quality pre-K program in such a short notice. We've already contacted 5 schools near our home, and all of them are full through the 25-26 school year. I cannot bear the thought of putting our little girl back into the daycare again. And to make matters worse, one of the options listed in the MCC's email triggered a wave of anxiety and fear. Our daughter was mistreated at one of the daycares mentioned in the list that was sent out in the email, and we are still dealing with that emotional impact of the experience. I cannot put her through that again. I respectfully ask the board and the college leadership to reconsider the closure of the children's center, or at the very least, to delay the decision until a realistic and safe alternative is in place for families. The Children's Center, which has been a part of this community for 50 years, guys, is not only a treasure within Mesa Community College, but also a second home for our children and a vital support system for student parents, working families, faculty, staff, and the broader community. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you, Lishan. We now move to the consideration on the consent agenda items. All items under this section of the agenda are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Do any board members or the chancellor wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Narini. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. The motion carries by unanimously with both the board and the student advisory board, and the consent agenda is approved. Let's then move on to the non-consent action items. And the first one of those is, actually the only one on there is the second reading and adoption of the 2025 residential FATU agreement effective July 1, 2025. Is there a motion to adopt the 2025-26 residential faculty agreement effective July 1, 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Sullivan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, by unanimous vote, including the Student Advisory Board, the 2025-26 residential faculty agreement is adopted. We have an additional item, number 2, which is the approval of delegation of authority to the chancellor, college presidents, or charter school superintendent to execute requests for certification and assurances issued by the Department of Education regarding eligibility for federal grant funding. Is there a motion to approve the delegation of authority to the chancellor, college presidents, or charter school superintendent to execute requests for certification and assurances issued by the Department of Education regarding eligibility for federal grant funding? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Smith. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Again, by unanimous vote in the student advisory vote, the delegation of authority has indeed been approved. We are going now to the first read information items. First read of proposed fiscal year 2025 budget. Board members, are there any questions at this time? I see none on the employment separations report from February 8, 2025 to March 14, 2025. Any questions on that item? Nope. Under monitoring reports, it is the budget analysis and report fund 1 for the 9 months ending 3/31/2025. Again, board members, are there questions? If not, we will move to the community linkage reports. And I'm going to start with our student trustee, Ms. Jackson Long. You've given us a little report, but would you like to report on additional items of activity? And you can add a little more to your summer experience that's coming up if you'd like to.
Oh, sure. I'll start with the events that I attended this month. First, which was really a highlight, was my attendance to MCC's Sister Act performance, which is a really great performance. I really enjoyed it. amazing talent they have there. I actually RSVP'd really last minute. I think it was like a couple hours before because I completely forgot to. But thank you for still inviting me and welcoming me for that reception and just the performance as a whole. It was really great. And I should really look out for some more performances from MCC in the future. And then from my own college, Gateway Central City campus, SLC was able to be hosted by our Central City campus to do some massages. And it was a very interesting experience to say the least. It was way darker than I expected, but very relaxing. Honestly, it was very dark. I walked in like, is this the closet or something? But yes, it was very relaxing, and I'll definitely take advantage of our students who are in those programs, learning how to, interact with their the people that they're working on and things like that. They have a lot of great services there, so that was really great experience. And then I went to a college tour trip hosted by Trio from Gateway as well. We were able to tour UCSD, University of California, San Diego, as well as CSUSM, to just really get to know what it's like there, just the environment, what resources they have over there as well. We were able to go to La Jolla Beach as well, Chicano Park, Balboa Park as well. Go to some great museums, see some great performances. Also go out a little bit on our own and see what the environment is like and what the community is like over there as well. Really great opportunities that Trio provides for students who may not be able to afford, touring these campuses and seeking out these travel opportunities. So that was a great trip we went on recently as well. And then last but not least, we have conducted and concluded our interviews for our next student governing board member. Her name is Pamela Smith. She is the current senator for Phoenix College. So congratulations to Phoenix College for hosting our next student governing board member. We are very happy with our choice, and I hope you guys welcome her. She's going to do a great job, and congratulations to her. I know she's not here, but I'm really excited for her to make that transition. And then as far as my summer plans, just a little bit deeper into it. It is, once again, an REU. It's a research experience for undergraduates, funded by NSF, National Science Foundation. I was really fortunate to be able to be hosted by a research internship funded by NSF because, as some of you may know, they are going through a lot of cuts in terms of programs and things like that, according to executive orders and amongst those terms. So I'm very fortunate to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. I start in May, which is why I won't be able to be here in person. I'll be here online as much as I can in terms of the timing. I will be working the basic 9 to 5 for the first time. So let's see how I get adjusted to that. But it's gonna be really fun. It's definitely something that will help, pivot me in the career I want to do in terms of biomedical engineering. And it definitely will help me grow as well and really to take a large step into the research environment. And for my career aspirations of researching and developing artificial organs, particularly the heart and kidney, as diseases such as diabetes and just heart diseases run in my family. So I hope to work on that in the future and hopefully emulate artificial organs for people who go through those diseases or injuries that are critical and they need new ones. So if you need an artificial organ in like 10, 20 years, let me know. But yeah, that is amongst my summer plans. In Massachusetts, my first time up there as well. I'm very welcomed, and I've already got to know my PI, principal investigator, as well. He has a very good standing in the biomedical engineering environment, and yeah, I'm very excited. So that's what my summer plans will be. And I've had such a great time being student governing board member for MCCD. I know it's not my last time here, but I've learned a lot, and I truly appreciate you guys having me and welcoming me. And it's something I will truly keep with me as I continue my career in college and from there beyond. So
Thank you, Tamaya. And we look forward to acknowledging our new student trustee in August, as well as recognizing Tamaya's service to us. So we'll look forward to that. Ms. Butler.
Thank you. I have no report, but I want to just thank Ms. Jackson Long for serving with us. And obviously you have such a bright future ahead. I know that we're all going to look forward to hearing about your career and all of the things you are going to accomplish. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. Ms. Smith.
Just two quick things. I participated virtually in the HLC site visit for MCC on March 31st, and then I attended the first day of the Strategic Planning Design Institute that Kathy mentioned, and I'm looking forward to the planning retreat next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Dr. Thor?
I didn't expect you to call on me.
We do it different every time. Everybody has to stay awake that way.
Thank you. On March 28th, I joined Dr. Narini for a tour of South Mountain Community College with Senator Mitzi Epstein and Representative Patty Contreras of Legislative District 12, which is my home district, and I'm very proud of those legislators. On March 31st, I attended the swearing-in ceremony for Chief Barfus, as well as 3 new police officers. The event also honored the retirement of 2 officers, the promotion of 2 assistant chiefs, and the presentation of a meritorious service award. On April 1st, I joined the other board members in a meeting with the Higher Learning Commission team visiting Mesa Community College. On April 7th, I attended along with Dr. Narini the annual Honors Scholarships celebration. And on April 15th, I met with representatives of Arizona Career Pathways to learn about their success in providing wraparound services to low-income students enrolled at our colleges. And I would also like to thank Ms. Jackson Long and Ms. Goff for their service this last year.
Thank you, Dr. Thor. Ms. Davis?
I attended AGB, and I want you all to know that I saved the day for the HLC meeting with Mesa because my computer worked and Elsa's did not. So it will be the only
Had
time in my
nothing to
life.
do with personnel operations. It was an equipment failure, right?
Yes. So it will be the only time in my life where I actually saved the day. So I wanted you all to know that. And then I went to AGB and it was very interesting. And my favorite sessions were around student success and academic freedom and free speech. I learned a lot in those workshops. So it was a great event. And I also went to Arizona Career Pathways to talk with them about the wraparound services that they are so generously using to support our students. So so that was great. And I'm looking forward to graduations. And I want to congratulate CJ. And I want to thank Ramona very much. And Miss Jackson Long. Thank you so much for your service with us. And that's it.
Thank you. Dr. Narini?
I think everybody's kind of covered most of the things. Some of the things that haven't been mentioned that I participated in was the Latino Leadership Luncheon on March 27th downtown. I did attend the AGB in Chicago, the Honors Scholarship Program here, and also got to go to the MCC 60th Anniversary Sister Act play, which was, as I said, excellent. It was one of the best plays I've seen. And then last Friday, I was at Phoenix College for their ACE graduation, and it wasn't standing room only because there wasn't any more even standing room. It was outside. It was outpouring of the bullpen, so it filled to overflowing with the parents and the families and the students graduating with ACE. So they did an excellent job. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan.
Thank you, Ms. Bittersmith. I think you've already heard a lot of things I've done, but attended the AGB Finance Committee meeting, attended the AGB conference in Chicago, And then that was followed by an AGB board meeting. So that week was very busy. And in the middle, there was the HLC visit with which I also participated, and do thank board member Davis for being on top of that with her computer. So thank you for that. Attended this SCUP training, which you've heard me comment on, and look forward to more activity in the strategic planning arena. Also chaired the PAC committee meeting, and also want to acknowledge the success of our team in moving forward some successful legislation, and also acknowledge there's still challenges out there for community college funding, and we're awaiting how budget appropriations will be accepted by the legislature and moved up to the governor's office. Good luck with that. I didn't say that as an aside. And then, of course, there is All Trustee Day with AACCT beginning tomorrow for 2 days, and excited to hear from Ji-Heng Ling as he frames the national picture for us from community colleges, as well as some other learnings that I know Dr. Borowski has framed for us. One thing that's disappointing to me is I will be missing the Linda B. Rosenthal mentoring graduation on Friday. I have another commitment that I can't avoid, but it's been one of the most outstanding mentoring programs that I've had the privilege to witness, and I'll be very disappointed I won't be there to acknowledge the women that will be moving forward, but they have great futures ahead. And I know a lot of that's contributed to all of you who have been mentors, and the mentoring you've provided those folks in their interests to grow and be better at what they do through those relationships. I also attended the conversation with Congressman Stanton, and it was good to be in the room with someone who expresses support for community colleges and acknowledges the challenges that higher education is facing in the world, and know that there are people who are trying very hard to have our backs. That was good. Last, I want to acknowledge something that was presented by Jason and your team when you listed your areas of concern. I just wanted to say that those 3 components are issues for all of us as areas of concern. And thank you for calling that out, because I think it's very important that we do acknowledge that there are things that are not going as easily or as well as we'd like them to, but that everyone's paying attention and we're all collaborative in seeing how we can do our work on behalf of the students in this environment. So wanting to acknowledge again, Jason, that those are all of our concerns, but thank you for calling that out on behalf of staff. Lastly, congratulations again to you, Ms. Jackson-Long. Very exciting for your future, and we look forward to hearing more from you as time goes on. Congratulations to Mr. Worcester at Chandler Gilbert. And certainly, Ramona, thank you again for your contribution. I know there's so many people to thank, and so I'll just be quiet from right now.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. You never can say thank you too much to this team for sure. I too, many of these you've heard about, was part of the AGB meeting, participated in a roundtable discussion of multi-campus institutions, which is now morphed into a working group of online communication back and forth. Everybody signed up with email addresses, and then mysteriously we're all grouped together, but actually been fairly interesting. I also attended the Armenian Genocide Awareness recognition at Scottsdale Community College, which is always moving, and there was great appreciation from that community for SCC and its continued respect for that community. I also was honored to be included in a legislative tour at SCC with Senator Corinne Werner, and we learned a lot primarily about the medical program, the nursing program. Some of that was a little scary, actually, Dr. Lashinsky, but a great learning experience. As Ms. Sullivan mentioned, we participated in a PAC meeting. I also participated in ACCT Public Policy online meeting, which chock full of great information, which has been followed up with almost daily updates to all of us, which Jihan, I want to tell you that's extremely helpful to all of us on the board for sure. As part of AGB, I guess I was also part of the HLC conversation, and it was as smooth as it could have been. Again, I want to acknowledge that we actually didn't miss a beat with moving from one computer to the other. So I want to thank both Elsa and Miss Davis for their assistance in fairly limited opportunities. Finally, I want to thank SEC for hosting me as part of the Scottsdale History Hall of Fame dinner, to which there's always great acknowledgement of people that do things and make things happen in the city of Scottsdale. And the SEC choir, no, excuse me, it was the jazz trio. The jazz trio entertained at that event. I think that was sort of a surprise to some of us, but they did a great job. So with that, that is my report. I do want to remind everyone that we have our upcoming meeting on the 13th of May for the agenda review at 4:30, immediately followed by an executive session. So board members, please put that on your calendar. And then May 17 is the public hearing and special session on the budget, followed by the regular board meeting here back at the Rio Salado Conference Center. And between now and then, there'll be several graduation celebrations that I know we will all be delighted to participate in. So seeing no further business, I want to thank everyone for your time tonight. And that concludes our meeting. Let the record reflect. My watch says 8:15, the clock back there says 8:10. So we'll say it's 8:13. Meeting stands adjourned.